Hi everyone, for the second lab this week we're going to be doing a density lab. In this lab you're going to be finding some objects around your house and finding their density. Since I know you already have some experience with calculating density, I'm not going to go over this part too much. But what I wanted to do was just to point out some things that I feel like might be a little bit confusing and just clarify some things. In the first section it wants you to find the density of a regular solid. So for this you're going to need the balance that came with your lab kit, and you're going to need some regular solid. And what do we mean by a regular solid? So here they give you the example of a cell phone. And a regular solid is just anything that has a volume that can be calculated through a formula. So for instance, a cell phone is what? Basically a rectangular box. So you can measure length, width, and height, and we know that we can multiply those together and give us its volume. You could also use something like a cylinder or a sphere, although a sphere might be a little bit difficult to find the actual diameter or radius so that you can calculate the volume. A cylinder might be a little bit easier if you have some object you would like to use. I think cell phone is a great suggestion here, but you could also use something like a small book or anything like that where you can easily find the dimensions. Okay, and then in the part 2 it asks you for an irregular solid. And here you get to pretty much choose whatever you want. So the difference in an irregular solid is that we can't easily calculate its volume using a formula. So we can't just measure length, width, and height and find its volume. So what we're going to do is you're going to find the volume by displacement. And basically what you need to find is something that will fit inside of your 100 milliliter graduated cylinder. So here they give you examples of a carrot, a hot dog, a pickle, a banana, tube of toothpaste, a matchbox car, golf ball, something like that. So I don't know, you'll have to find something that you can easily get in and out of your graduated cylinder. So some of these, like the hot dog, might be a good suggestion, or a piece of hot dog might be a good suggestion. But just try to find something that will fit into your 100 milliliter graduated cylinder. You could maybe use something like a pencil or a pen with a cap, to give it kind of a regular shape. Something like that where you couldn't easily find the volume of it by calculation, but will also fit easily into your 100 milliliter graduated cylinder. So what you'll do is they're asking you to put between 50 and 7 ml of water into the graduated cylinder, and you want to record this as the initial volume. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you haven't put so much water that when you add your solid, it's going to overflow. So kind of, gauge that a little bit. But you'll record this as your initial volume, so your V1. And then you can insert the object that you want to find the volume of and record this as the final volume, V2. And if you take the difference between those, that will tell you how much displacement the object had. In other words, it'll tell you the volume of the object based on how much it displaced the volume of the water. Okay, so you also want to find something that sinks or that you can easily hold under the water. So just find the volume by displacement, then you can find its mass using your balance, and then you can easily calculate density from there. For the last section, you're going to find the density using find the density of pennies using a graphing method. And so they give you the density of some common metals here. And what you're wanting to do is to determine the actual density of a penny. You need to make a video recording of this section. So it makes a note here that you'll receive a 0 for the lab if you don't turn in a video. So please do that. I don't want to have to give you a 0. It doesn't have to be, of every step. You can take multiple videos of you just dropping the pennies in or whatever it is. But just do give me some video component of you actually doing the lab. Okay, so what they want you to do is they want you to fill 100 ml graduated cylinder with some water, and then you're going to weigh 5 pennies and then add them slowly and record the volume displacement. So you will have some initial volume, and then you will take the volume after you add the pennies. Okay, so they're asking you to label that as V1. So basically what you're trying to do here is you're trying to develop a set of data points. Okay, so you're going to have the mass of 5 pennies and then the volume displacement of 5 pennies. And then you're going to weigh out 5 to 6 more pennies and then add them and do the same thing. Okay, so essentially what you're doing is you're developing a set of data points that you can graph later. Okay, so they ask you to do this out to a fifth volume, it looks like. Okay, so follow these steps, and basically what you're going to end up doing is you're going to make a scatter plot, add a slope, best fit line, and then find the slope. And the slope will tell you the actual density. Okay, so there's lots of good instructions here for you, so I'm not going to go over every little thing with you. But if you do have any trouble, there's a video here for you. So if you just do a control click on this link, there's someone explaining how to do a scatter plot if you haven't used Excel before. So follow these instructions, and if you get stuck at all, please let me know and I will help you. But I think these instructions will guide you through it very well. But please do let me know if you have any trouble.